Okay, guys, so the first thing we're just going to do a kind of a landscape view of the exam. Now, I know that the exam is June 2026, where September 2024. But the thing is, it's better to start early. The sooner you kind of become accustomed to the different parts of the exam and that kind of thing, the easier it will be for you. And the idea is when you go into the exam, it's not child's play or anything like that, but you're really comfortable with all the different sections, and there's no mystery to it. You know exactly how to handle it. So the oral exam, guys, is a 10 minutes chat. You can see that I've underlined the word chat here. It's really important to keep in the back of your mind, that the oral exam is given. The examiner, they're generally really nice people. They're not there to grill you. They're not there to catch you out. They're there to facilitate, to be friendly with you, and to facilitate a conversation with you. That's really their job, and assess how you respond, etc., and communicate. And it's worth 25 marks. Now, for me, a quarter of the overall grade for 10 minutes work, I think, is very, very generous, So we all should, sitting here today, have a positive attitude towards the oral exam. You're going to bag 25% of the marks for a 10-minute chat with some friendly person. You're going to be very, very well set up for the exam as well, and we will be practicing bits and pieces as we go through our classes. The listening, you have 7 questions. It's 20% of the mark, so a decent chunk of the marks, and the listening is 40 minutes long. The paper then has the remainder of the 55% of the marks overall, and it consists of 3 papers, and the paper is 2.5 hours long, usually around 9:30 in the morning to 12 o'clock. Okay. So the 3 sections then of the paper, we have some choices in here. You can do this or you can do that in some of the sections. For example, in section A, you can have the choice of doing the reading comprehension of the newspaper article. So you'd have a long comprehension. It's usually like a real newspaper style reading comprehension. There is the literature part as well, so that's your other option. So there's a snippet or a section from a book in Spanish, and you have to answer questions and all that kind of thing. So the first section is worth 70 marks for you. You have one of these big comprehensions to do, and then you have 2 small comprehensions. Within the comprehension questions for the long comprehension, you have parts where you have to find synonyms. So you have to look in the text for words that mean the same as the word you're given or the expression you're giving. We will practice a lot of these things, more in 6th year than we would in 5th year. Okay, section B, you don't have any options here. You don't have any choices. You answer everything on the paper. It's worth 100 marks. Again, there's a reading comprehension here. And we have synonyms, and we have the comprehension questions and stuff like that. But we have the part also where we begin to do the writing, and that is your opinion piece, or some people call it the linking text. So it's linking with the text that you've done in your reading comprehension in the section B. Section C, then you're back to some choices. For example, you can either do the dialogue or you can do the formal letter. Most students opt for the dialogue. I do go through my 6th year with my 6th year guys. I do go through all of them so they can actually choose for themselves, and they're equipped for both of them. But a lot of people choose the dialogue. Okay. Yeah, so that part is worth 30 marks for you. Again, the paper ends then with either a diary entry that you write or a note that you write, and I think it's a nice way to end the paper, to be honest. It's when you do these, and we will be doing these in 5th year, you will be coming quite first in how to do these things this year, and it's worth 20 marks. Okay. Very few people really, I've never actually heard of anybody doing the literature part. They generally do the newspaper style reading comprehension. And the last thing I would say here, guys, is it doesn't really only apply to the Spanish exam, but it applies to all of your exams, all of your subjects. It sounds simple, but and it is in some ways. The real question you should always have in the back of your mind when you're doing any preparation for the Leaving Cert is, what is the examiner looking for from me here? And how can I actually give it to them? You know, and I'll expand a little bit on that. So the dialogue is a test of vocab, and it's a test of grammar. The note is really a test. It's not really a test of vocab. The vocab tends to be very, very simple. There might be one or two words that you're like, but in general, it's very, very simple. However, it's a test of grammar, but it goes even narrower than that. It's a test of tenses. So you might have a part where they say, tell her you will ring tomorrow. So you look, okay, you underline will ring. So they're looking for the future simple of me. Okay, perfect. Tell them you were studying. I was studying. The imperfect they're looking for off me here. So you can see where we're going with this. So we identify what the examiner is trying to get from me in this question, and we know then how to actually give it to them.